Not having more money than you need for a month's expenses can be super stressful. It can be damaging to your relationships. It can be a feeling that consumes you and even keeps you from even better opportunities because you're always stressed out about money. I'm going to be sharing with you the top 5 ways on how you can stop living paycheck to paycheck. Now, unfortunately, I have experience with this topic. Unfortunately, like I said, I can think back to my younger years. I wasn't that young. I can remember being 27 years old, making a good living in the real estate industry, but still suffering to keep enough money in the bank account for any type of emergency. I can think back of a time, like I said, I was 27 years old. I was living in a condo that I had bought. Good. I owned my own place. Well, the bank did, right? I had a mortgage payment. And my car broke down. It was a few $1,000s to get fixed. And the car was parked. I walked to the grocery store. I went to pick up a few items. I got to the cash register and tried to buy, I think it was like $27 worth of groceries. And unfortunately, my card got declined. And man, that was a rough day. That was a rough feeling. And I had to return some of the items back. And I swore to myself at that moment that I would never experience that again. And although I have been getting better over the years, it did take a few years in order for me to really get it right and understand how money works and how to hang on to it and not how to spend every single last bit of it. So I'm 35 now and doing a lot better, managed to pay off all consumer debts and really put in a few simple things that really make a big difference. And I hope that me sharing that with you makes you understand that you can get out of that paycheck to paycheck mentality or that paycheck to paycheck situation that you're in. I read up a few articles here, and in the United States, over 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. In Canada, 47% of Canadians, according to Maclean magazine, are living paycheck to paycheck. And if we get hit with another crisis or another situation over the next few years where people are being unable to collect a paycheck, it could be very, very difficult for some Canadians and Americans to make it through that. So I'm going to share with you a few tips and tricks that I think can help in order to get rid of that mentality of living paycheck to paycheck. So number 1, I call it reset in your spending. And this is a trick that I've used a few times before. It's looking at that credit card that's got a bunch of stuff going on it, a lot of monthly subscriptions. Call your bank, tell them that you want a new credit card with new credit card number because you think that that credit card number has been around for too long. Now, most banks will agree to this. They will cancel your credit card and they will send you a new one with new digits. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to notify everybody that's on an auto credit or auto debit for your credit card, like a Netflix, like a subscription to a gym that you haven't been to in a while, like any other subscription-based model. You'll have to get that notification that your credit card payment didn't go through, and then you'll have to decide, is that something that I want to renew? Is that something that I would like to subscribe to again? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're gonna have to make some decisions. And why not make the easy decision of letting go of the stuff that you're not using? That's the most simplest one. And a subscription of $40 a month, it might not seem like a lot, but that's $480 per year. And I don't know about you, but I'd love to have an extra $480 in my bank account at the end of the year if that money would be used for something that I wouldn't even consume or use at all, right? Number 2, automatic investments. This is something that I picked up a few years ago from a book called The Wealthy Barber by Chilton, one of my favorite Canadian authors for sure. Now, Dave encourages his readers to invest automatically a portion of their income. And he talks about the 10% that he puts aside in investments. And it's an amazing thing. You can ask your employer to cut a certain amount of your paycheck and have it go directly to your financial planner and have them invest that money. Have them put it in an RRSP or a 401k for the Americans. Any type of investment vehicles. Now, what's going to happen is if you've got a good financial planner, they'll place that money in a spot where it grows automatically. And that 10% that you don't see on your paycheck, there's a good chance you won't even miss it, because from step number one, you're already making better financial decisions. And then that 10% is automatically going to be sent away to be invested automatically so that you can start to build some type of investment for your future. Number 3, gamify your net worth. Now, this really helped me a lot. A few years ago, I sat down, I got really serious about doing something about my finances, and I wrote down every single thing that I owned. Every single small bank account, main bank accounts, I put it all down in a spreadsheet, and then I looked at my debts. What credit card did I have? What mortgages did I have on properties? And then it got me a number at the end of the line called your net worth. So you take all of your assets, everything that you own, and you subtract everything that you owe, your debt, your mortgages, stuff like that. And that'll give you a number. For some of you, that number might be a surprise. You might end up learning that net worth is a lot lower than you thought, and that's okay. Just being aware of it is transformational in itself, because for me, I can remember when I was looking at my net worth and I first started doing this, I went and I was in the process of buying a car at the moment. And I believe it was a $60,000 car. And I was thinking about my net worth, and I said, well, if I buy this car, how much is it worth next year? He says, oh, you could resell it for 42, 43 if you have, a normal amount of mileage. And what that means is that your net worth will drop like 20K automatically if you make that decision that day. And just being aware of that made a total difference in my habits of spending. And that was a big one for me, just tracking my net worth. I called it gamifying my finance because I sort of turned it into a game. Do I want to buy this or not? Is it going to make my net worth go up or down? And I still use that trick every day to this day. Number 4, after you've done the list of all the expenses all the debts that you have, target your highest debt first. And I don't mean the one where you've got the most amount of money. Let's say you have a line of credit with $40,000 and the bank is charging you $7% on that, right? Okay, that's $40,000 debt that you have there. That's not good, but we'll tackle that later. If you have a credit card debt for $10,000 and the bank is charging you 18% interest on that, that's the one you want to attack first. It's smaller in amount of money that you owe, but the debt is so much higher. $10,000 that you owe on a credit card per year at 17%, $10,000 that you owe to a credit card, if the bank is charging you 17%, that's $1,700 per year. Again, I would love to have that money in my bank account versus in the bank's profit margin. And number 5, this is a big one. Try to get some type of residual income, or even if it's not a residual income, get an additional income, or a lot of people call them side hustles. Now, for ourselves at home, we just converted our basement into a secondary unit for people to rent. It's going to help us pay our mortgage. It's going to help us, take some of the stress of the carrying cost of paying a mortgage, and that's a great way to do it. There's some people that start selling off stuff in their house, and then they they buy stuff and they resell it online, and then they make a bit of profit like that every single month. And that's a good way to attack the debts that you've accumulated over the year and to hopefully get out of debt. Another thing you could do is look for a company that's offering you a residual income or a revenue share for people that you're introducing to the company. Like my company, eXp Realty, what they've done is every single time that I influence an agent to look at the company and join the company, there's a small piece of whatever commission that agent is bringing into the company that is paid back to me as a revenue share. And if you've got the opportunity in your industry, I'm not sure which industry you're in, to look for companies like that, why not take advantage of it? That revenue share for me pretty much takes care of all my monthly expenses. Now, given I do live a pretty frugal lifestyle and my living expenses are at a very, very all-time low for me, but that revenue share is taking care of pretty much all of that passive expense that I have in my lifestyle for the moment. So if you've got the opportunity and you've got the opportunity to work on a side hustle, maybe start a podcast, maybe there's a certain product that you always wanted to start selling, if there's a way that you can make that happen and not cost you any money, the idea here is to make more money, obviously, then I'd say go for it, because that's a great way to have a good time, right? Enjoy what you're doing, and also bring home some additional income. So there you have it, guys. That's my list of the 5 ways you can stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 1, reset your spending. Cancel those credit cards and reconfirm that you want those subscription-based models. And it's really going to be eye-opening to see what you use and you don't use. Number 2, automatic investment. The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton. That's a great book. Invest automatically. Number 3, track your net worth. Gamify your finances. Figure out how much you're worth and be aware of, the moves that you make every single day. Is this contributing to my financial health or not? Number 4, pay your highest debt first. If you've got a credit card and you're paying 17, 18%, get rid of that one first. It's going to make a huge difference at the end of the year. And number 5, get some type of residual income or a side hustle so you can supplement the income that you already have coming in. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. All these tips are very useful, and I've put all of them into practice, and they've all made a difference for me. And share with us, do you have a side hustle? Do you have anything that you do that brings in some revenue into your household? Let us know. We love to interact with you guys, and let's keep the conversation going. If you guys are enjoying these, make sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps other people like you discover this channel and discover this content. All right, so I will see you guys next week. Ciao.